So the inspiration for this video, in case you're curious, was that I was just wandering through YouTube and thought to myself, hey, why don't I check out my own channel and my old videos? Suffice to say, it was the worst idea I ever had in a while. I never really thought I would receive such a large dose of cringe in such a short amount of time, but hey, it happened. But it did give me a nice nostalgic hit, so I thought I would just iterate through most of my older videos and maybe talk about them and their inspiration. And yes, I'm putting inspiration in some pretty big air quotes. So first up is the Team Fortress 2, my first online match video, and Jesus Christ is this video nostalgic. Not only was it the first official online game of Team Fortress 2 that I played, Team Fortress 2 was also the first paid game I ever owned on Steam. I remember it was on Christmas and I saw TF2 was on sale on Steam for around $10, and yes, before you had to pay in order to play Team Fortress 2, and honestly I thought that was the better way to handle things, but TF2 went free to play, so whatever. But anyways, so after a while of convincing my father to buy it for me, he gave in and purchased it. And then from there, it was all just love. Every day I got home from elementary school, I would just load up TF2 and just play for hours on end, taking breaks in between of course to just chill or half-assedly do my homework. But for the most part it was just me and TF2, and it was great. All in all, I honestly don't mind that video existing on YouTube despite its horrid production quality, but come on, I was 12 and I just wanted to do YouTube. I mean, come on, give me a break. Also, one more thing that I forgot to mention is at the end of the video, I completely forgot about that Happy New Year picture that I made in Gmod. A nice callback to when I used to screw around in Gmod and make these scenes using ragdolls and props, and then taking pictures of them with the camera tool. So, next up we have the getting into drawing anime commentary, and I found this video to be pretty interesting, but it wasn't because of the content. The content itself was honestly just mediocre at best. I found this video to be rather prophetic actually in my eyes, since back then I would say that I wasn't that dedicated to drawing and stuff, but looking at me now, I'm still drawing, and while I'm not that good, I can certainly see an improvement over the times from my old art. For those who also draw, you know how when you draw something and then you go back to it later on, you begin to see how flawed that piece was? It was exactly that, but yeah, I found that video to be pretty interesting considering I forgot I even made it. And yet here I am coming back to it years later. Alright, blah blah blah. Oh boy, this old series of mine, Anacom. Now for those who don't know, back when I was a lot younger, I liked to watch anime. Usually I would just watch the shows that were about 20 episodes long in length. I didn't really care too much for the animes that had hundreds of episodes since I couldn't be bothered to go through all of them. At the time I saw how I loved watching gaming commentators and watching anime, so I thought why not start a series where I'd review anime over some gameplay. I thought the idea was a great one since it was unique and targeted a certain audience, but in retrospect it wasn't that great. I guess the one thing that didn't come to the mind of young me was that just because an idea sounds unique doesn't mean it'll be good. Not only did I not include clips from the anime because of fear of copyright, what I had to say wasn't noteworthy at all. I think the way it went was that I would just go over the plot, introduce characters, and then start blabbing on about it for a few minutes. I'm not going to go back to check because I don't want to absorb more cringe. And finally, let's see, the last video that's something worth talking about is it's the Back from a Trip to Hell video. The funny thing is that I still sort of remember how my time there went down even after 4 or 5 years. To summarize, this one basically is me complaining about how I went to some military base for a month and attending some kind of equivalent of summer camp. The camp was relatively gross and I was always around a bunch of little kids who I would probably categorize as being a typical 12-year-old shithead. There were some exceptions though. At the camp I was grouped up with these 3 dudes at the bunk beds near the bathroom of our barracks, and I always talked and hung out with them during the day. I think their surnames were Tremblay, Rhodes, and oh, well, this sucks. I forgot the third kid's surname, but suffice to say, I still remember what he looked like and how he acted, and he was a pretty cool kid. And aside from them, there was also this Asian kid who also played TF2 like me, and we would randomly just spy grab because we were just a bunch of kids who wanted to have some fun, and because I was a loser, I guess. Now, here's where this little story gets a little more interesting, and I'm going to start off with a little bit of background information. Now, there's this fat white kid who nobody liked in my barracks. I'm pretty sure nobody in the camp liked. And that was because, well, he was annoying and was just a dickhead in general. So one night, I was getting ready to sleep, so I went to the bathroom to go and brush my teeth. Then, out from the corner of my eye, I see this kid go up to my bed and wipe his nasty ass foot on my bed. And when I say his foot was nasty, I mean it was nasty, because the floors of a barracks was incredibly disgusting. If your foot even touched the ground for not even a second, you would probably want to go and wash it. Usually when I walked around the barracks, I just wore some thick wool socks that they provided because that's all I had really. Not that that was an issue for me, since I would rather wear wool socks that prick me every now and then as opposed to getting warts all over my feet because of the disgusting floor. Anyways, where he wiped his foot, it wasn't around the area where my upper or lower body would be resting when I was sleeping. It was where my head would be resting. It was pretty much next to my pillow. Now, of course, I didn't want to start a commotion because I'm not the kind of guy to confront people all that often. I'm more of the kind of guy who's just live and let live. So I quickly cleaned up and I went up to him and I'm like, dude, what the hell, can you not? I'm pretty sure he just made some kind of shit comeback or some kind of noise trying to imitate me, which didn't really bother me too much at the time. But then, out of nowhere, my man Rhodes intervenes and he's full and angry, and I could tell that because the look in that fat white kid's eyes was genuine fear. Rhodes demanded him to swap his sheets with mine, and the kid did it. He did it instantly. And to this day, I still remember what he did, and if I ever saw Rhodes again, I would treat him to a beer or something, probably more than that, probably like a free lunch or something, because he deserved it. Plus, there was this one time I accidentally got angry with him for some asinine reason, and that's something I have to apologize for too. But seriously, Rhodes, the way you tore that kid a new one, fucking savage. Along with that, I also wouldn't mind treating Tremblay and the other kid just for being really good bros in general. And so concludes that video, and from that point on, it's pretty much just a bunch of filler videos, and then I think the video titled Random Rambling Shit was the pioneer of my current commentary style, which is also kind of important, but really nothing much happened in there. The content's mediocre, it's just me talking about what happened during my summer, about starting university and stuff like that. So if you want to go and check it out, then feel free. If you don't want to, then whatever. But I guess that's going to do it for this video. So I'd like to thank you guys for watching, and leave a like if you liked the video. If you didn't like it, then feel free to dislike, I don't mind. And if you feel that my content is worth listening to, you can subscribe if you would like to. If you don't, then feel free to move on. And I guess that's it. So I'll see you guys later.